And I guess I've been dreaming, 'cause now that I'm woke, everything that I see ain't what it seems, man. I guess I've been dreaming, 'cause now that I'm here, what I feel motivates me with reason. I guess I've been dreaming, 'cause now that I'm woke, everything that I see ain't what it seems, man. I guess I've been dreaming, 'cause now that I'm here, what I feel motivates me with reason. I guess I've been dreaming.
What it is, what it do, peace and love to all the gods and goddesses and all the high vibrating species on the planet. Oh, what it do out there, good people? How are we living? How's we living out there? Oh yeah, we litty in the city. Already know. Welcome back to the channel, store everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Academy salutes. Y'all, we ain't gonna waste too much time. We're gonna go ahead and get into this one. We got SCP-6819. That's Bio-Luminescence. Unless you're a toddler, you should be familiar with the luminescence. Illumines. Alright. But we gonna see if we got our luminescence or our technology of bioluminescence from this thing right here, shall we? So let's go through this file and see what we got. Y'all ready? Hope you got what you need, because I do. And without further ado, if you new, just pull up a chair, because you about to find out what it is that we do. You know what I mean? Academics, let them know. We gets it bussin'. Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Miller, and the SCP we're going to be looking at today is SCP-6819. Object Class, Keter Uncontained. Special Containment Procedures. Research into the causes and effects of SCP-6819.
Let us find out exactly why they ain't caught this thing. It may be too much for him, because he keter and uncontained, so it may be a little bit too much for
him. And possible preventative measures are ongoing. Currently, Foundation Protocol discourages travel from the hours of 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. unless absolutely necessary, in which case a party of 4 or more is strongly encouraged. If an SCP-6819 event is triggered, the driver should maintain a fast but safe speed and not attempt a U-turn or to otherwise change direction. After the building is sighted, confirming presence in SCP-6819-1, drivers should switch lanes or otherwise maneuver around any obstructions in the road. In the event of humanoid presence in the road, personnel are authorized to accelerate to a ramming speed. Under absolutely no circumstances are personnel to ever stop, exit the vehicle, or approach the building. Description: SCP.
Did they go on a safari or something? You feel me? Don't get out the vehicle. Stay on the path. Don't, you know what I'm saying? Don't run up on the building. Do not feed the animals.
6819 is a phenomenon occurring on highways in the United States numbered highway system in the contiguous United States. SCP-6819 involves the sudden translocation of a vehicle driving on a U.S. highway to SCP-6819-1, an extra-dimensional region of unclear bounds, and its subsequent return. SCP-6819-1 resembles a U.S. highway with all identifying signage removed and no natural illumination. The surrounding area is difficult to see and variable, but the area to the right will always be a gently sloping rocky hill. At the top of the hill, an unclear distance away, a large building is present. The exact physical characteristics of this building change, but all subjects report it as imposing or intimidating, with high walls illuminated by floodlights. Descriptions range from a prison to a castle to a military base and similar facilities. The requirements for triggering SCP-6.
Yeah. Yeah, just so y'all know, because I'm actually glad the guy said that. Dr. Miller, I really appreciate you saying that right there. Let me bring something to y'all attention, just because if you didn't know, all the prisons in the U.S. are our old castles from the invasion. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Back on the Columbus and all that. You feel me? The prisons, those were our castles. Just like medieval times, like back over there in London and stuff, in the UK where they had the castles and stuff. Yeah, it was castles all over the planet. You know what I mean? And so yeah, I'm glad he actually said that, from prison to a castle, because the castles is actually went from castle to prison, or military base, or both. And 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna say both, because what's on the surface may not be what's underneath. You know what I mean? Like, half these foundations and facilities, for the most part, unless they're in some remote area that we can't get to, or you know what I'm saying, it's just gonna be a lot harder for us to get to without being seen. 9 times out of 10, they on the ground working, just like they're in the ocean working. You know what I mean? And been there for years, centuries. Okay. So yeah, food for thought. Just food for thought. Fun fact that the castles in the U.S. are now the prisons. Do your own due diligence. The information is out there. It is not hiding. For if I know, you can find out as well. Let's go.
6819 are unclear, but a few prerequisites have been ascertained. The driver of the vehicle must be currently or formerly employed by the Foundation. The vehicle must be moving independently, not towed or transported on a truck bed. The time must be between 11 p.m. and 4 a.m. local time zone. The moon must be in a waning period. There must be no more than 3 passengers inside the vehicle, including the driver. SCP-6819-1 always contains an event forcing or incentivizing the driver to slow down or stop and exit the vehicle. The specifics of the event are never consistent. Instance 56. Circumstances: 2009 Chevrolet Tahoe. Foundation issue. Driver was Agent Mila Barrow. No passengers. US 46 in Missouri. Observations: SCP-6819 triggered at 12:17 a.m. local time. Agent Barrow reports she noticed the sudden absence of other vehicles, but did not consider it a point of concern and continued driving. A few minutes later, she realized her dashboard clock had stopped displaying and her phone was no longer in service, and grew concerned at the continued lack of human presence. At this point, the building, it must have been miles away on that hill. I could barely make it out through the tree line.
We did that. I'm telling you, synced up. Cause they like but he went another direction with it. I was gonna say, and at this point, it's much too late. You are already in the shits. So prepare for that ace card to get. Gonna get on that ace card. See, I'm telling y'all, people. All right now, you heard it here. You see how she disregarded? She disregarded. That's that first thought. That first mind. That, you know what I'm saying? It's like, man, I should have went with my first mind. There it was right there. She got the sign. She had the opportunity. They say, what it say? Warning. Warning before destruction. Warning comes before destruction. She was warned. And now she must face the wrath. But let's continue.
Became visible. Agent Barrow continued driving, but prepared her service weapon. I'm not sure why. I was locked in a car with bulletproof windows and there wasn't anything overtly dangerous around. Several minutes later, the right lane was obstructed by the corpse of a large elk or moose, being feasted upon by a significantly larger animal, possibly a bear. The bear's fur was extremely dark, to the point of absorbing light around it, and had morphological alterations. Its arms were distinctly thin and long compared to the rest of it, like human arms. The prey was still alive despite the surrounding asphalt being coated with its blood,
And that's a bear?
continued to thrash and emit guttural screams as Barrow changed lanes and accelerated past it. In her rearview mirror, she reported the predator sitting on its hind legs and staring at her vehicle with glassy white eyes.
Okay, no.
Barrows exited back into local reality at 12:38 a.m. and
Definitely
immediately
not a
reported
bear.
the incident.
Not a bear.
Instance
Not a bear.
165. Circumstances: 2004 Toyota Sienna. Driver was Dr. Adam Makowitz, with his wife Dana Makowitz in the passenger seat. US 82 in New Mexico. Observations: SCP-6819 triggered at 11:34 p.m. local time. Dr. Makowitz immediately registered the sudden change in surrounding landscape despite the darkness and attempted to check their location on his phone GPS, which did not work. The building became visible at the top of the rocky hill. It reminded me of Site-16 a little bit. These huge concrete walls built into the cliffside, and the big spotlights along the walls. Not wanting to wake his wife, Makowitz continued driving for several minutes. The building stayed at a static position. With the angle and my speed, I should have been getting closer, but it wasn't, like it was moving parallel, though obviously it wasn't, with its spotlights panning over the hillside. Makowitz suddenly became aware of a movement to the left of the vehicle. Per testimony, it was a dark blot out in the desert, angled in such a way that I could see it for several seconds as we sped by. From everything around it, it was obviously a three-dimensional object, but since it reflected no light, you couldn't really tell. A couple miles later, I saw it again, but it was further out, so I could see it longer. It was moving at a constant speed, not the intermittent gait of something on legs, but the smooth pace of a wheeled object. It was moving parallel to the interstate at a much lower speed, and we shot by pretty quickly. I thought I was hallucinating. Makowitz then reports that the object reappeared ahead of them, moving perpendicular to the interstate. It crossed into...
That's about how they be moving when I see them in the skies, like way up there in the skies. If you look, they look like the stars, or just like moving around or whatnot. So I get what he's saying about that slowness, how they move slow. Some of them move real slow. But best believe, if you get on their ace, they're gonna defy your physics, which is not even a thing. Even right here in the physical, physics don't matter. Y'all know that. But they didn't tell us that. They told us that physics, we can't fly, we can't do that, we can't do that. Shit. Bullshit. Bullock. I'm here to tell you, Bullock is Bullock. With the proper discipline and training and the no-highs. Yes, sir. That's what they trying to keep us from doing. Elevate and go back to what we used to be. That's why the CIA got us labeled as metahuman. Metahuman. Another word for that, a mutant. Another word for that, an X-Man. The Hulk. The Avengers, Thor, all that. Superpowers. Yeah, it's a real thing. Right here on this earth plane. You just got to get your vibration up, tap in, detox your system out. Get off this meat and all this other stuff, you know what I mean? But most importantly, discipline. Set your intention and go for it. That's the one. But I put 3 stars on this one. Go back and re-educate yourself. You've been indoctrinated, my friends. You've been indoctrinated. All of us. And we all got to go through that damn. We all got to go through it. So let's just get it over with. Yeah, they lied. They lied about a lot of stuff, if not every damn thing. But anyways, let's get back to it. Let's get back to it. You see, I'm sorry, y'all. Them certain words, they trigger me. You know what I mean? They trigger me, and they just get me started. And I be, you know what I'm saying? I be noticing things, and then when I hear it, you know, we got to do the cross reference. If you ain't cross referencing, you missing something. You're missing the key. You missing the key.
to their path, and Makowitz rapidly braked to avoid colliding with it, waking his wife. The object was no longer present, and his wife suggested she drive. I was tired and a little terrified, but something in me was screaming not to get out of the fucking car. They continued, and the building disappeared from view at 12:09 a.m. local time, signaling their exit from SCP.
Damn. Hey, y'all. Look at the mask. You dang right they know about this dang thing, man. This thing been around for a while, man, because I've been seeing these masks for a while. Way before SCPs ever touched the damn internet. Look. Can't tell me that thing don't look familiar.
6819-1. Instance 306. Circumstances: 1977 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am.
That's a damn
Driver
skull,
was
boy.
site director Paul Legoux. No passengers. US 120 in Pennsylvania.
Of some type of species.
Observations: SCP-6819 triggered at 2:03 a.m. local time. Director Legoux immediately noticed the sudden disappearance of other vehicle lights. It was a pretty empty road, but I could still see taillights of people way ahead of me, and the headlights of oncoming traffic. One by one, they just winked out, like candles getting snuffed out, and attempted to call a colleague on his phone, but could not get signal. Legoux was suddenly temporarily blinded by a bright light. A spotlight followed his vehicle for a few seconds before drifting away. Legoux regained control of the vehicle and looked up at the building on his right. Between the barbed wire, the guard towers, and the spotlights, it looked like a fortress. Believing he had taken the wrong exit, he made a U-turn and began accelerating in the opposite direction until the building disappeared from sight. After only 2 to 3 minutes, the building appeared again ahead of Legoux, once again on his right. However, the taillights of other vehicles were visible ahead of him, as well as the honking of horns. He registered the lights were not moving. The cars were all stopped in the right lane, causing him to switch lanes to drive past them. As he drove past, he slowed to take a note of the traffic jam. All the cars were jet black and looked brand new. All of them had their hazards on, and were honking at each other. I was wondering why the hell none of them just switched to the other lane until I drove past. All of them were empty. Must have been 30 or 40 cars, backed up at...
Hey, so what is this? What is this, maximum overdrive? That's what it sounds like to me. Sounds like maximum overdrive. Now, if you're not familiar with maximum overdrive academates, just go to Google. Google will simply tell you exactly what maximum overdrive is. You'll like it. You'll like it. And if you watch it, now if you actually take the time out to go watch it now, you're going to say, oh, I get it. That's why yeah. Because if this is supposed to be not real, and it's supposed to be its own little thing, then they shouldn't be making movies about this stuff. Then that means the information is actually here. They found the information, and it's been spread across the board of those 13. Like your 05 council over here, the 13 over here. You know what I mean? We know who that is, the 13 family. We know who that is. We know who you are. You're not hiding. We know who you are. And I bet you probably looking like, damn, we can't get away. Great mother said, leave no rock unturned. No leaf falling from trees get unturned. No, everything. High and low, in and out, all's around and about. We got to go through it all. We got to find out everything. We got to know everything that you've been doing. Everything that you've been doing. Because we know who your teams are. We know who you're dealing with. We know who you're dealing with. We know. I ain't gonna go pointing fingers and calling names and stuff, because I'm gonna keep it. We gonna keep it clean, YouTube. We gonna keep it clean, YouTube. I ain't gonna bully nobody. I ain't here to bully nobody. I'm just here to just throw the facts out there. You know what I mean? Because when we get to the other side of it, this ain't gonna be about race. Because we gonna see faces of all races, creeds, genders on the other side. that's been giving us that curveball. Everybody's involved in this. Your people, my people, yeah. They've dealt us a bad hand. And they've been lying about stuff. And that's why I'm here.
Been honking at each other with their windows down, and not a single person inside any of them. Legueux accelerated to 130 miles per hour and exited SCP-6819-1 at 2:25 a.m. local time. Instance 398. Circumstances: 1999 Honda CR-V. Driver was Agent Alice Sterling. Only passenger her pet golden retriever, US 95 in Nevada. Observations: SCP-6819 triggered at 1:15 a.m. local time. Agent Sterling does not immediately notice, but reports her dog immediately began to behave strangely and restlessly. The building does not become visible for several minutes, but Agent Sterling notes she began to hear a soft but high-pitched buzzing. I figured that what was making Kane nervous. It sounded like a snake rattle almost. From outside the vehicle, her dog began to whine from the back seat. Sterling noticed a discoloration on the road ahead and slowed her vehicle down as she approached. She noted a number of black cars stopped in a row in the left lane, similar to Instance 306. However, all the asphalt, guardrails, cars, and nearby rocks were coated in a greenish shifting substance. As Sterling shifted to the right lane and slowly drove by, she was able to inspect them closer. Cicadas. Hundreds and thousands of them at the very least. They were everywhere, buzzing and screaming and making the air shimmer. I don't think cicadas ever come out this far west. Not in these numbers. My car left a smashed trail of them and they didn't even seem to care. The brood of cicadas continued for almost a mile and a half, during which the building became visible, much closer than in previous instances. It seemed safe, strong. I didn't see any cicadas on those walls, despite the lights. She also noticed a unpaved road diverging from the highway that led up the hill to the building, and moved to take it. At this point, her dog began to loudly and insistently bark, and she missed her turn. Sterling continued and exited SCP-6819-1 at 1:38 a.m. local time. Instance 434. Circumstances: 2017 Ford F-150. Driver was researcher Samuel Seabar. No passengers, but Seabar was transporting a whole hog in the bed of the truck. US 123 in Kentucky. Observations: SCP-6819 triggered at 12:56 a.m. Seabar immediately noticed and unsuccessfully attempted to establish a radio connection with command, then rapidly accelerated in an attempt to exit SCP-6819 as fast as possible. I figured that since turning around doesn't work, the fastest way out is directly through. The building became visible within 1 to 2 minutes due to the speed Seabar was traveling at. Uncharacteristically, its spotlights were all fixed on a singular point down the road. Instead of wandering across the area as usual, as Seabar approached the point, he noticed an obstruction in the road and was forced to slow down. The twisted, flaming wreckage of a black SUV was strewn across the road. It was gruesome. I think it had crashed into the guardrail, but the car was totaled. They'd been thrown through the windshield. Jesus fucking Christ. Illuminated by the spotlights, a number of small fires were present throughout the crash scene, as well as a number of partially burned bodies lying face down on the ground. Seabar took the truck partially off-road to avoid the crash. One bloodied figure was lying several dozen meters away from the spotlights and wreckage, at the end of a long trail of blood and viscera. As Seabar returned to the road, he did not register this figure's presence in the darkness, and crushed them under the wheels of the truck. The sudden jolt panicked Seabar. I thought someone had jumped on the fucking truck. I thought I was gonna die. And he accelerated to 110 miles per hour until he exited SCP-6819-1 at 1:09 a.m. local time. After establishing a radio connection and reporting the incident to command, Seabar stopped at a gas station and noticed the raw hog in the bed of the truck now had large chunks torn out of its flesh. Interview. Interviewer, Dr. Seth Sainer. Subject, Agent Barry Novak. Playing log, now.
Sorry about the wait. It's fine. Not exactly a lot going on here. Just for the record, can you recount what happened one more time? Again. You don't have to go into too much detail. We just want it on tape. Alright. I was driving down 160 near Cortez. It was like 2 in the morning. There were some other cars around, but it was mostly dead. When did you notice something had changed? I have a little compass on my dash. It started freaking out. Then I noticed I couldn't see anything. It's a dark highway, but there weren't any taillights, headlights. I couldn't even see the moon. Utter pitch blackness beyond my high beams. And that wasn't even... I'm not afraid of the dark. Never said you were. I was. As a kid. I always slept with a nightlight in the corner of my room. Made me feel safe. Anyway. That's when I saw the building. Can you describe it to me? It was perched on the cliffside. It was... imposing. These huge flying concrete walls and the big guard towers. It was bright, too. The only source of light in the area were those huge spotlights and floodlights. And you kept driving? Sure. At this point I knew where I was and what to do, so I continued driving. Okay. The spotlights followed me. Followed my car. I mean, do they always do that? It's not exactly common, but we've seen it happen. It scared me, so I sped up. I was waiting to see what was going to be in the road, in the dark. You saw figures. Yeah. Maybe 4 or 5 people. It's hard to remember. Standing in the middle of the road facing me. Could you describe them? They were white. Naked. Masks. Black masks covering their entire heads. They were holding things. Either guns or bats. It's hard to say. Doing anything? Just standing there. As you know, the absence of living people in SCP-6819-1 is usually an important signifier. Are you sure they were people? They looked like people. I don't know if they were actually alive or actually human, but they looked it. What did you do? I wasn't prepared for a fight. It's a shitty little Prius. I can run someone over, but if I smashed in the window, I was done for. I saw the road. The road? The dirt path going off up the hill to the building. And you followed this path? Yeah. I figured it was a better option than playing chicken with some gunmen. Can you describe to me the uphill drive? The road was bumpy, but it was drivable. I switched into second gear and started going up. Then the headlights chopped through the bush. Then the spotlights fell on me. All of them, shining down on the roof of the car, blinding me. You stopped the car? Yeah. Then they wandered off me, formed a line, leading to one of the walls of the fortress, shining on a big door. What kind of door? It looked like the blast door, almost. The whole affair looked like, I don't know, a bunker. How did you feel? Weird. A blend of scared and safe. Safe? The light was comforting, and the walls looked very safe. I started driving up to it. And you saw the door opening? Yeah. Just as the door started to open, everything went dark again. You passed out behind the wheel. The airbags were deployed when we found you in a ditch by the highway like this. They're probably gonna pull the plug sometime tomorrow. Your family will be taken care of. I'm sorry, Barry. It's not your fault. Should have plowed through those masked fucks. Killing people isn't a natural instinct. That's the thing, isn't it? You're driving through the dark. You see a bright light. You assume safety. A nightlight. Yeah. It shows you're not alone. Shining through the dark and calling you closer. Like an anglerfish.
I would like to give a special thank you to Just.
I guess he just said, fuck saying bye. Y'all get up out of here. Alright, well, okay, mates, that concludes the video. And that's Bio-Luminescence. Weird. But for the most part, man, I said what I had to say already. You know what I mean? Them key points right there. You know what I mean? The rest of it speaks for itself pretty much. For the most part. You know what I mean? Once you start, you get a couple little truths, and you can do the cross reference, and then you can pretty much take into consideration everything else. You know what I'm saying? Then not to mention, I was looking at that mask. Of course, it's not from this dimension, and you see the body of it. You know, it's already hitting on some rake graves, you know what I mean, type of deal. So we already know this is extraterrestrial, another dimension type of deal. Maybe came through a Stargate or something. Ain't no damn telling. They merging. Dimensions have been merging here lately. You know what I mean? The multiverse. I think about the Spider-Verse. There's a lot of that been going on. Okay. So, Academates, I appreciate you joining me. Y'all keep y'all head on the swivel. I mean, do not forget to keep yourself spiritually, mentally, physically, and emotionally protected out here at all times. CT on at all times. Keep that oil with you at all times. And if you don't know what the oil is, that is operates in love. That's cosmic love, to be exact. But we just keep us a jug of oil on us. You know what I'm saying? Remember to operate in that love, man. When you're vibrating up here, there's a lot of things down there that can't reach you. They ain't got enough reach for that. And like I said, if you got to step down, please make sure it's worth it. Because everybody ain't worth your time. And every situation ain't worth your energy. And you can't help everybody. Now, you better go talk to Karma about that, because even if you got a good heart and you would love to help everybody, certain people got karma on them. And if you get in the way of karma's duty of busting that ace, you going to get that ace bust too. So y'all better start asking questions. This is a part of your critical thinking. That goes for the loved ones, the friends, and the strangers. You know what I mean? No matter who it is. Ask a question. Ask a question. Did you do this? Or did this fall in your lap? Because if you did this, then you need to handle that responsibility. You need to take accountability for that and handle that. But if you need some help with that, and you've been trying to handle that, and you just kind of falling short a little bit, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure Karma might, you know what I'm saying, let you ride just to kind of give you a little nudge. But if you just come in straight in and just, I got it, bro, don't worry about it. I'm going to take care of this for you. Like, dude, that's not your situation. You're going to get your head bust real quick like. And you liable to get it tenfold for messing with somebody else's affairs. But anyways, Academates, until next time, peace and love to the guys and goddesses and all the high vibrating species on the planet. Till next time.